Here we go. All right, you guys, welcome to another Sunday evening call. Shawn and Michelle Poe here, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We are looking already towards the end of April. It's the last auto ship of the month is going to happen tonight. So definitely keep track of where you are now. Keep track of where you end tomorrow, so you kind of have or where you start tomorrow, so you have an idea of what sort of volume you get on that last auto ship. When you keep track of those sorts of numbers, makes it a little bit easier for forecasting and just knowing where you want to be and how much more you need to get in the new volume because we already know what the auto ships are going to be. Dig down deep into your groups. Start with, people that are new into the company, haven't made Pro 1 yet, how we can help get them to Pro 1, and then work your way up. The Pro 1s, who can we help get to 2, and so forth. It's amazing how when you reach down and you start looking at how you can help other people and rolling it up, what it can actually do for your organization and your business. So that's another tip that I would do starting tomorrow. One other thing that I would look at doing is going through not only your distributors after tomorrow, making sure they have their $40 order in to get paid. They need, as of April 1st, they have to have their own $40 order in. For about 4 months, the compensation plan changed where you could take all of the volume, all of your PV, and utilize it to get paid on the residual income side. Now you do need, again, a minimum of a $40 order to get paid yourself. So make sure that you have that in there. But also take a look for those in your group that are under 100 in total PV, people that are between 100 and 199, because we know that you're going to maximize your commission when you're over that $200 mark with personal volume. Take a look at your customers too. If all the auto ships have gone through and you notice that some of your personal customers don't have an order going out this month, I would reach out to them. Find out if there's something you can help with. Sometimes it's as simple as they had an expired credit card that wasn't changed, so we can help get that done for them. And then if they decided, they were no longer going to take the product or products that they were on, kind of have a conversation about what happened, or if there's more information that they need, and talk about the importance of being on the products long term. So those are just a few tips that I would put into practice that we've been doing over the last 5 years, and they really do help generate lots of volume towards the end of the month. So pay attention to those rank advancements, the volume that distributors and customers have, and who you can help. So with that, we have a very special guest on tonight. We have Pro 7 from Sioux Falls as well, Nikki Elsing. Nikki actually brought this to Michelle 5 years ago, and was the one that introduced us to all of this and got us into the business. So we're super excited to have her on. We actually got to see this presentation when Maria Williams was here doing our premiere school 2 weekends ago, and it was absolutely fabulous. She's an amazing speaker. She knows her stuff very well. She helped us out with a third-party validation the other night with the Physique line. She's so much more knowledgeable on those products than I am, and I've learned so much since going back to the original launch of this, and even the months leading up to that, understanding what probiotics are, the importance of the fat burn, what is in our protein, and things like that. So she is a wealth of information. She comes from being a dietitian at one of the heart hospitals here in Sioux Falls, but she has since retired because of this business. So with that, I will turn it over to Nikki to bring it home tonight. Nikki.
Awesome. Thanks, Shawn. I appreciate that. And I'm super excited. I always get really excited about the retirement part. We were just talking about it today, and Mitch is like, well, it's June 25th. I'm like, I will never, ever forget what day that was, ever. It is like burnt into my brain. So awesome. Glad to be on the call. Thanks, Shawn. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate that. And I'm guessing that since I don't have a whole lot of feedback, it might not be as exciting as it was in Sioux Falls when we did it for Super Saturday. But I'll do the best I can to make sure I cover everything. And then let me know if you, oh, hi, Michelle. Let me know if you have any questions as well. So let's just shoot this up here and see if I can get this whole screen sharing business to work out for us. And Shawn, you let me know if you're having any trouble seeing it. But Tonight we're just basically going to go through more information about the probiotic to give you a few more details and specific information that's there to be able to help you be able to get this information out to any of your prospects. And keep in mind that myself, when I'm looking at this, every single person needs to be on a probiotic, absolutely positively everyone. And if they're on one already, then I say, hey, are you on a probiotic? If they tell me yes, they are, then I say, okay, well, you need to upgrade. Even without knowing what their probiotic is that they're on, I want them to upgrade. And so definitely just knowing that we have the very best one. And I can tell you that I was just, Friday, I was chatting with the gastroenterologist that I know very well, and I'm meeting with him early next week. And he's very, very excited about it. It was fun to be able to get it in front of him and get his opinion because, of course, he is definitely getting his patients on probiotics already. And so it was a nice conversation. I'm hoping to get him on the bus to be able to provide this as well. And it's just nice because it helps to influence my reach and get that out there. Now, most of you maybe know that, like Shawn had mentioned, I'm out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and certified wellness coach. I worked at the Avera Heart Hospital here in town. I did most of their outpatients and all the media, basically with TV and newspapers. I did community presentations, and I also did some moonlighting, I call it. It seems like whenever us healthcare professionals are doing any extra things, we always call it moonlighting. So I moonlit over at a gastroenterology office, which was always a challenge because people with gut dysfunction have different levels of quality of life, so to speak. And so it's frustrating, and everybody has a little bit something different. And so tonight we're going to basically look at what we can do to be able to help people, whether they have a compromised gut system or people who have a adequate gut system. So I can tell you previously, my biggest thing was I wanted to have refrigerated probiotics, and I wanted to have a variety of strains. I always wanted them to be in a capsule so that it would, or capsule or tablet form, so that hopefully it would be able to get past that stomach acid. There were a few other ways to get it. And I knew going in that, approximately 80% of whatever it is I was putting in their body was going to be destroyed by stomach acid. And just this last week when I was having that conversation with the gastroenterologist, like I was saying before, he was saying, you get 1 tablespoon of that stomach acid into any sort of probiotic, and it's gone, like dead. There's barely anything that lives. And so for it to be able to make it through that stomach, people are eating yogurt or other probiotics, it's just not getting there. So that's why our time-released BioTruck technology is the biggest, most important part, I think, related to our probiotic. And when I was talking with him, he was very excited about the fact that we can get past that stomach acid with that time release. So brag, brag, brag. Okay, so make sure and let everybody know how cool that is that we have that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about probiotics. Probiotics are live microorganisms, can be bacteria or yeast that when you give them to people and when they are in the adequate amount in their belly, it provides a health benefit. And remember, we have so many parking places in our gut, our large intestine, small intestine, any of those things. And if those parking spots are taken over by bad bacteria, the spot's already used up. And so we don't have a way to be able to fill it with that good stuff. And so we're constantly battling that. And that's why we want to make sure it's something that you don't take for a little while. It's something that's important for people to be on for always. So if people are looking at our system saying, well, what should I be on if I have to pick? It's hard to pick, but I would say that Protandim and that probiotic. And just on a side note, I've had people that have tried Protandim before and were not able to do it because of a compromised gut system. And then once we started on the probiotic and they added it back in, they did just fine. So that was a really, really cool testament as to how well our probiotics work. Now remember that we also have a group of things called prebiotics. And the biggest way to be able to remember that is it's food. It's basically food that's helping to feed the probiotics. And the cool part is well, I'll tell you about that in a little bit when I get onto another slide. We also have microbiome or gut microflora. Hold on one second. I got to just shut this door. Microbiome or gut microflora, that's another thing that just encompasses all of it. And so if you hear people talk about any of those things, you know that it all gets lumped together. Now, when we look at health benefits, we know that there's 70 million people in the United States that suffer from some sort of digestive disease. And this is a significant amount of money that people are paying with medical bills to be able to improve their gut function. And if any of you are suffering from it, it's a very costly, very intense type of situation. And many of these people are on very damaging types of medication just to be able to feel better or get better. And there's some big risks that go along with a lot of that medicine. So not all of it, but some of it. So then we have all these different types of microorganisms that are active or live in our bellies. And that's an important thing of management. We talk about managing these good and bad bacteria and all the other stuff. I mean, think of all the things that are constantly going into our system, and your body's got to manage all of that. And that's what this probiotic is doing, is trying to help it manage that. Now look on that bottom right-hand side with 60 to 80% of our immune system being in our gut. That is huge, you guys. And we have people that suffer from different disease conditions because their gut leaks. They have a leaky gut where things are going through the barrier like it's not supposed to. We have people that don't have tight junctions where things are leaking into other parts of your body that you don't want. We have people with so much inflammation they can't hardly get anything to be able to manage well without being this really quick release. We have people with Crohn's disease and celiac disease that, instead of having, we have all these wave-like, I'm trying to think of how to call it, wave-like areas within our intestine. And when these people eat certain things, it makes those waves go flat. And so it's just smooth, and they don't have all the finger-like things sticking out. And when that smooth stuff just goes right through you. So, significant influence we have not only in decreasing the amount of money that's spent in this regard, because what we're offering them is nothing for cost compared to what they're paying with other stuff, but also just an overall health and wellness. And we know that if your gut's not healthy, your brain's not healthy. And if your brain's not healthy, your gut's not healthy. So it all works together and has these significant conversations. Now, probiotics have all kinds of things that they help to be able to improve. And like I told you before, people were able to take Protandim now that hadn't usually been able to do it after they've been taking the probiotic, and basically healed up that gut. Helps to improve that gut function, helps with lactose intolerance or other types of intolerances that people may have. And just overall, it's a nice combination to be able to get all of those things done together. So somebody just said, Debbie said, villi. Villi are those little finger-like projections that are in your gut, in your small intestine, it's all kinds of ridges like this, and the villi stick out, and that's the fingers. And so that those fingers are what can be influenced by different food intolerances. And so when we're able to help decrease that food intolerance, we have more absorption, better absorption, which means better nutrition and wellness for people. And that's just a result of, proper gut health. Those probiotics are basically trying to give you those good, healthy bacteria to make sure digestion's adequate, to make sure your absorption's good, and improve that immune system, all of that. Now, one of the things that's interesting, most of you have probably seen this slide already, which I love, benefits for weight control. We look at it, there was a specific type of probiotic strain called L. reuteri that they researched, and they showed that when any of these mice were fed this probiotic, didn't matter what they were eating, they're on the same control food, and look at the difference. When you have the L. reuteri and the not, they stay thin. When they were on the control or fast food, they still gained weight. And so not that I want you to eat junky, I just want you to remember how important these probiotics are to be able to help our weight management, but also be able to keep us healthier and make sure that we're doing all that we can. So now this is interesting because, a lot of times people say, well, looking at our physique line, some people never ever get full. I've spent so much time with people that have never ever gotten full, and they constantly combat that. To me, I'm not a clean your plate kind of person. If my kids are tired of eating or they're full or whatever, I just say, okay, that's good. Just remember, we're not going to eat for 3 more hours or whatever, so they kind of figure it out. But I never sit there and go, you need to eat all that, or you need to eat all that, and I don't feel like I need to eat all that. One of the reasons being is I've had people come into my office for years, struggling with the fact that they've always been told to finish their food, and they eat when they're not hungry. They just eat because they feel they need to or whatever. And so I have quite a few opinions related to that. But when we're looking at hunger control, this gives the person more control over this, because some of these people never, ever, and some of you maybe, and some maybe me from time to time, don't ever feel full. And what happens when we have this gut bacteria, we get this fiber, this fructooligosaccharides, this prebiotic fiber, which is food, that turns into this short chain fatty acid, which makes this gut fuel. And when we have these short chain fatty acids, what happens is those three things across the bottom. It decreases that gut inflammation, so it lowers that inflammation. It increases your leptin, which is another hormone, there's two hormones on the right side there. Increases your leptin and increases your appetite control hormone. So it's increasing that feeling of satisfaction and fullness. And so that's huge. If we can get people to lower that inflammation and help to increase those hormones that help tell them that they're full, we have a huge influence. And so it's a really important part in our weight management profile. So when we look at different prebiotics, I want you to know that our cleanse that we have through PhysIQ actually has that FOS or fructooligosaccharides in it. I've been told that FOS stands for something else, but I'll let Shawn tell you what that is later. But so what's cool is when people are using their cleanse, they are actually giving themselves this food to help feed those probiotics. And so that's showing you why it's important when people are starting their PhysIQ to give that cleanse that time to be able to work. So you start taking it before that probiotic. And some people, take it a few days and then start adding their probiotic in, that's fine. Or they complete the whole 7 days and add that probiotic in, whatever works. But the cool part is we're bringing in food to help those good bacteria feed it. So we're cleaning stuff out, we're providing some food, and then we bop it with some probiotic, and we're really harvesting things nicely, or whatever word you'd like to say. And these are all foods that are naturally high in prebiotics or foods for that probiotic. The ones on the bottom, berries, bananas, flaxseed, legumes, are all higher in prebiotics than the others, but just something to think about. And what you might want to do is remember that you want to add that into your shake. It's kind of nice. So you can throw some of those things into your shake, which would also give you some prebiotics into your meal as you're doing that. So one thing I've noticed too with the PhysIQ is I've been starting to recommend that people kind of put a day space between adding new products into the line. So all the more reason to do your cleanse for a few days or complete the whole 7 days, then add in that probiotic. Then do the probiotic for a couple of days and then add in the protein powder or whatever, so that you're not all of a sudden adding 15 things all at once and then people are like, I don't know, I'm not sure what's making it seem weird, but I can't decide. And so it's just kind of a nice way to get your body used to it and be able to identify what might be, if you have any issues, what may be a complication of that. All right, you guys all fall for the yogurt thing. Yogurt's a great snack, don't get me wrong. Just get some that's low in sugars, and I don't get any with artificial sweeteners. But I'm not eating it for the live cultures, because remember what I told you about the tablespoon of that stomach acid? Those live cultures are not getting past that stomach acid. So I'm eating it for the protein and just as a good snack. But they've talked a lot about it before. But it's not bad either. You're also going to help have some regularity in things that's good for protein, nutrients, and lactose digestion. But really not going to give you anything in the result of the probiotics. And you see there about 4% of that bacteria actually survives that stomach acid, which is why a lot of these probiotics have an ungodly amount of probiotic cultures in them, because they know that a very minimal amount is actually getting through to where it's supposed to be. Okay, so our probiotic with that immune support, remember that's another thing, is that immune support with that Wellmune repopulates a healthy gut bacteria. We have 6 different strains, and there's 6 billion CFUs, or colony forming units. We also have that beta-glucan, that Wellmune, and you can have them look that up if they want to in PubMed.gov, and it'll show you information about boosting that immune system without overstimulating it. And remember, these people that have gut dysfunction have compromised immune systems. And so this is definitely something that helps to be able to build that up. And, a lot of people have IBS, and that's kind of a category they lump a lot of stuff into. And so being able to influence that is fantastic. And again, that huge thing we want to brag about is that BioTrack controlled release technology. That bacteria is surviving that stomach acid and arising in that intestines over 10 to 12 hours. I don't think there's really any wrong way to take your probiotic. The biggest thing is take it with food. So you give it extra food to be able to help it live. I usually take one in the morning and one at an evening with my dinner. So one with breakfast and one with supper. I do that because I want the probiotic benefit the most. And I know since it's going to be in my system at 10 to 12 hours that's good. The Wellmune that's in there is dosed based on you taking 2 at a time. So just to kind of let you know a little bit along that line. So if you're really working on, a lot of that Wellmune research is on upper respiratory infections and things, and maybe come, fall, I maybe will take it a little bit differently. Maybe I'll take it 2 at a time at that point. I'm not sure, but right now I'm doing one about every 12 hours. I also don't have a hard time remembering to take it. For those people who have a hard time remembering it, just get it out of the way right away in the morning and whatever works. Or if people are saying they're not getting a result from taking one in the morning and one at night without being too gross, if they don't think they're getting a result with it, then tell them to take 2 in the morning and do it that way. This just shows you a bit of the bacterial strains. The big thing to remember is you don't care about all this stuff, you guys. You don't need to take pictures. You don't need to do whatever, because it doesn't really matter. The biggest thing to remember is we have 6 different strains, some that are helping the upper GI, some that are helping the lower GI, and it's working on all types of different infections that could happen to people, viruses, those types of things. So it's just, we can brag about it, but there's no reason that you have to sit there and go, okay, well, L-acidophilus, you don't have to tell people that. So I'm going to skip fast because I don't want you guys writing all that stuff down. So Wellmune, the other thing, remember, is that 1316 beta-glucan. It's a patented form of that. It's not stimulating that immune system. It's just basically making it smarter. It's our secret forces. So when you need them, they're there. It's just ready for it to go no matter what. There's all these different clinical research studies, like I said, that upper respiratory infections. So good stuff, and you can dig into that a little bit more. The cool part is you can go to wellmune.com as well if you'd like to. And Bioterra invested $300 million in developing this and researching it. That's huge. And guess what? We just get to use it in our product. How cool is that? So very excited about that addition to the formula. Different things to expect when you start taking a probiotic. This is what we hear. We hear people say, sometimes we hear them say, oh, well, you know what? I have diarrhea, I have gas, I have bloating, constipation, cramping. These are things. And I say, oh, that's great. They look at me like I'm half crazy, but I tell them that's great because that means it's working. Oh, all right. It's like all in how you word that with people, because do they not want to notice anything? I mean, that's not good either. We want to have some sort of notification of that stuff's working. And what may happen is they have some of this after a while, and then your body gets more used to it. It's not such a big deal. But this is something we're affecting that GI health. And just think about the constipation issue when you look at that a little bit. I mean, if you have all these bad bacteria in there, which a lot of us do if we haven't been taking probiotics very much, or if we've been sick and we've been on antibiotics, that's like wiping out everything, good and bad. And that's often a time when people start taking a probiotic is then. But, where are those dead bacteria going? I mean, they have to go somewhere, and most likely it's going to be kind of causing some sort of constipation or causing some sort of diarrhea or gas. I mean, it just all makes sense when you look at how it's all working within that body. So when people say, oh my gosh, you know what, I'm taking your probiotic and I just don't feel very good, I'm having all this, and this, and then I say, oh, that's great, perfect, it's working. And when they look at you funny, just go, yeah, that's great. Yeah, it happens with some people. Good for you. That's fantastic. And then it helps them figure it out. And I guess if it was something with constipation that I was having to worry about with this, I would work on taking 2 of them at a time in the morning, and then using my dose, all at one time instead. I'd make sure that I had enough water. I'd make sure that I was eating my fruits and my vegetables and getting not just juicing, but if you're juicing, getting that fiber that's in there, because oftentimes with juicing, you miss out on the fiber unless you've got the right equipment, so to speak. So make sure that you're getting those fibers in there, or taking like a Benefiber or Miralax a little bit to be able to help get things going or keep things moving is fine too. But yeah, just making sure that you realize that that might be something that happens. If they're complaining about too much gas, they can pull that down a little bit and then wait a few days and then gradually add it back in, like 1 a day or something, as your body gets a little bit more used to it. So yeah, so that's it. What else do I need to cover? Let me get off my screen share here once. All right, Des says something about how do we explain to people with autoimmune that it's not overstimulating the immune system. Basically, that's what I tell them, is just remembering that it's not stimulating your immune system. It's just helping it to get a boost so that it's able to identify when there's something going on that it shouldn't be. I never worry about probiotics with people who have autoimmune disorders. I don't worry about Protandim with people with autoimmune disorders. I think those people don't have a lot of options. and they need options and things to be able to make them feel better. So I would say you need this to get you to feel better. And I would get them on as quickly as possible. So just saying it's a secret force is to be able to help them when they need it in the right amounts is basically what I would say. Let me see if I have anything else here on my phone. Nope.
And you guys, if you do have questions, you can type them into that chat box at the bottom of the screen. You just click on chat and then you'll start typing in.
I think one of the biggest is the side effects, gas, bloating, cramping, constipation stuff. We've had that with the cleanse that people have talked about too. And then, Pete, 1 second on the question. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading it and trying to answering at the same time. But with the cleanse, people say that a little bit where they're like, oh, well, I'm constipated. It's not working. I'm not doing it anymore. And it's like, oh, wait a second. You should still use it. And to me, when I look at different cleanses I've done in the past, it's not a very pleasant experience all around. And when we look at our cleanse, seems much more pleasant because it's not going in there. And what I see a lot of times is just, I think of those other cleanses as like going through with these rakes and just like scraping the inside of you just because you kind of feel like crap. Literally, I guess. But sorry, that came out again. I think I say crap more than I think. But anyway, thanks for laughing, Michelle. But so like that might happen, like just as your body's reacting to getting rid of some of this stuff, that might happen too. So you need to think about, the fact that maybe you have to do something to get through the constipation or whatever, to use some of the others as well. Like when Joanne and I have the conversation, we're like, well, yeah, we just muscle through it. Like you take something else to help get through that because we know that it's going well. Okay. Let me peek through these real quick here once, guys. If you're using the cleanse monthly, should they stop using the probiotic at that time? Nope. If I add in I'm going to use that cleanse once a month. I'm going to use it when we go out of town because you never eat the same when you're out of town. And so I'd start using it then. And I would do it once a month is my plan. If I have people who are plateaued or they're losing weight and they just plateau and stuck, I would tell them to add that back in. But no, the only time that I would be not using the other products is when I have initially at the beginning. 9-year-old taking the probiotic, that's completely your decision. That's up to you. I wouldn't give them 2. Would give them 1 possibly, but I guess if they didn't have any gut dysfunction, I don't use it with my own kids much. But if they had some gut issues, I would probably give them 1 of them. Or if they're I've used probiotics when my kids have been on antibiotics, and I give it to them probably a few weeks around there. I don't really feel like it's going to hurt anything at all, but it's up to you on that deal. My dog just opened the door. Hold on. She pushes the door open and then I can hear everything, and she never shuts it when she leaves. It's weird. No, I always take mine on full stomach, take it with food. The reason why is I want to hopefully have eaten something that's going to be giving it some prebiotic to be able to eat also. Yeah, I take mine in the morning, but I don't take it on an empty stomach. My cleanse I take whenever I want on an empty stomach, but I always take my probiotic with food.
All right. Well, it looks like that wrapped up the question. So again, thank you so much, Nikki. You can say those big long words with the bugs better than I can. The Sacagawea Tyrannosaurus strain and whatever else you said. I'm still trying to learn. So we really, really appreciate your knowledge and your expertise in all of this. The national call wasn't on Big Blue tonight, but we do know it's going on. Brandon Brandon Cunningham is actually going to be doing the call. The number for that call is 712-432-0075. Again, that's 712-432-0075. The access code is 887931. So I'll type that into the chat box as we're closing out here.
And that's right now.
But that is starting right now. It's going to be an amazing call. He is so good at just speaking. I mean, he is an expert public speaker, and to be able to get the information right out of the mouth of a Pro 10, I don't think it comes any better. So with that, we will call this a wrap. We'll get the recording out to everybody so they can get it into the hands of their team members that were not on it live. And again, thanks, Nikki, for taking time out of your schedule to educate us on the ProBio.
Absolutely. Good night.
Have an awesome week. Let us know how we can help end the month strong. Take care.
Great to see your faces.
Bye.
Bye.